Hi, it's Friday the 27th of September, and we're going to talk about something spooky, and that is the moon's nodes, which, if you're not familiar with astrology terms, is a karmic or spooky part of the chart because it's not part of the regular solar system. It's something out of this world. Okay, so let's get on with it. Now, first of all, I'm going to share. Um, and here's a dog. This is little Georgie. This is little Georgie. Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, he says, Mommy, have you forgotten about me dinner? Yes, I'm going to share. So I'm going to share that. And hopefully he'll go and lie down again until he gets his dinner. Oh no, we're back again. Okay. Um, so this is an explanation of the part of the sky that I'm going to be talking about. It's not a planet. It's not even a place. It's where an event happens. Okay, so this is the Earth in the middle. This is one of my diagrams again. You can tell, can't you? This is the Earth in the middle, and the moon orbits around the Earth, and that's great. There it is, as its elliptical orbit. And then it looks as if, from our perspective, that the sun also orbits around the Earth. Now, I do realise that it's the other way around, but it doesn't matter. You can put it into this perspective, and you have the same result. So the sun is on one orbit, and the moon is on another orbit, and they have a 5-degree difference when they're at their greatest separation. The Where the path of the moon crosses the path of the sun, it is called a lunar node or a moon's node. And this is the south node because the moon is heading south. And this is the north node because the moon is heading north. So I've labeled this the sun's apparent path or the ecliptic. It's also the zodiac belt is divided into 12 zodiac signs. Okay. Now, if you can imagine, I'll just stop sharing for a moment to explain this. So you can, right, let's just imagine that there's a boat going round and round on a lake. And what happens is because the boat is going around in exactly the same place, it gets into a groove in terms of this swirling of the water. You could imagine, for instance, a teaspoon in a coffee cup, right? So you're stirring and everything's going in the same direction. It's all doing fine. And there is maybe a groove in the top of the water. Okay, and then let's take a second boat on the lake. All right, so now we've got two. What happens if when those two paths cross each other? It creates the most enormous, shattering, splitting event, right? It's so all of the tidal wave effects, electromagnetic field lines, gravitational corridors, all kinds of stuff, right? Gets tossed around. The effect of this is so great that it splits our space-time. And I'm going to put this as simply as I can. So it allows the energy from another dimension to enter our solar system, our dimension. And it's in astrology, it has a very karmic effect because instead of we being able to look at it and say, Mercury means this, Aries means that, da da da, when it comes to the moon's nodes, they are almost unpredictable. They have some predictable qualities, but there is something of the completely unknown. It's a foreign country, and it is indeed a foreign dimension. And they bring with them, because of this splitting of our space-time and the infiltration of another space-time, they bring with them something of an unearthly, eerie feeling, almost as if past life can be found here or future life can be found here. There is something that it's unexplainable about the coincidences, the karmic appeal. There's all kinds of spooky stuff goes on around these nodes. Okay. Oh, and it's also where the eclipses happen, because that's when the sun and moon are in complete alignment. They're not 5 degrees apart. Okay. Right. Now, on Sunday, I'm going to show you a different, I'll share again. This time I'll show you something different. 1 second. We want that one now. Now, so on Sunday, which is the 29th of September, at around 7 in the morning, now that's in UK time, you're going to have to work that out if you're elsewhere. Something happens. The sun at 06:38 of Libra here crosses the path of the moon. And we know that because that's the south node. This horseshoe thing is a south node. So the south node is at 06:38 and the sun is at 06:38. Now Mercury is very close by as well at 05:22, but that's not as exact as the sun, although the effect will spin Mercury around as well. Okay, so how will that feel? Now, the south node is probably, if we're going to have experience, and someone was to say to me, well, which one do you want to experience, the south node or the north node? The south node is the one that you would prefer. The north node can be quite difficult. Okay, so south node, all right. So what does the south node represent? Okay, so the first thing is it's something to do with the past. It has a feminine aspect to it. It's about something which is instinctual, and it's a natural instinct. It's an instinct you're born with almost. The instinct is in your DNA. You just know it. Okay, so it's instinctual. It is about the past, and it's about familiar terrain. There is something familiar. It's known to you, just as if you've lived this in a past life. You know how sometimes you meet people and they you look at them and you think, do I know you from somewhere? Gosh, that's really strange. I feel as if I know you from somewhere. So that's when you're having this sort of past life experience. How come I know this person? It's quite likely that there is a node exchange, that you, in your chart, something is conjunct a node somewhere, or the other way around. Anyway, so there's something very familiar about this south node position. It feels quite comfortable. It does feel comfortable. Now, all this is opposed to the other one, the north node, which feels very uncomfortable and which feels very disconcerting. It's about something that we know nothing about and we're confronted by it. But let's get back to the south node, which is actually where we're at. So there's something that we do know, and that's something that is in a distant memory. There's a reminder of it. There's a flash of it. Now, all you psychic ones will be feeling most peculiar on a Sunday morning, because the energy that comes in from the position of the nodes, because of all this smashing and crashing of tidal waves of force fields and all this, the energy that comes in almost makes us feel seasick. You feel a real sense of being rocked and feeling, I don't feel very well, sort of feeling. And that will be very apparent to the sensitive ones amongst us. And of course, anybody with psychic abilities, clairvoyant abilities, that kind of things, will feel a little strange. The transits only takes an hour or two, probably an hour, I think. I don't know. It's an hour or two anyway. And it's it's gone as in the same way a thunderstorm can make you feel quite different. And then when it's gone, it's gone. And you go out into the garden and the sun's shining and the birds are singing again and everything's a bit wet. But apart from that, it's like a rebirth. So, what is the prediction for this? I think because it's in the UK, because it's 7 in the morning and it's a Sunday morning, I think an awful lot of people will just sleep through it. But if there is a chance of sleeping through it, then I think dreams would be very important because this is the past. This is something that is familiar to you. So what a really great way of finding out, something of the past that you may not recall in your conscious memory, but your soul remembers it very well. So, okay, now elsewhere, in the States, it's going to be the middle of the night. Yeah, it's going to be in between midnight and 2 in the morning, something like that. And so again, you'll be asleep. And again, yeah, I would be aware. And I think also probably the best thing to do is put a notebook at the side of the bed and a pen, because the memories of these, whatever it is that comes up, will be washed away so easily. You won't remember it after you've opened your eyes for about 10 minutes, and it will quickly go. The thinking brain will verbally overshadow it, and it will do the verbal overshadowing because this is part of the mechanism which prevents us from seeing through the veil into the other sides. It's one of those protective things again. Okay, so now uh, I hope that was interesting. I'm not going to add any more to it because it's nice to keep these, apparently, it's nice to keep these videos short. I'd like to talk for an hour, but then, can't do things like that. You've got to. Right. Well, I hope everybody's going to have a great weekend. And yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to a couple of things we've got planned, so that'll be very nice. And I'm also looking forward to finding the stop button. I found it. So I've got the stop button, so I'm going to say bye-bye and press the button, and then the video will end in a normal way instead of the usual crash. Okay, bye.